The 2009 Royal Rumble, I actually liked a little bit more than the 2008 Royal Rumble. It was back-to-back years where I felt the WWE really gave us a good, solid pay-per-view offering for one of their Big Four shows to kick off the year. And like I said, I liked this Rumble a little bit better than the 2008 Rumble because I felt the match quality from beginning to end was a little bit better. And some of the stories heading into the show were better. And one of the stories heading out of this show was even better. But let's get started here. 2009 Royal Rumble. You kicked off with an opening match that was solid to say the least. Jack Swagger versus Matt Hardy for the ECW Championship. About the best type of match you could expect out of these two for a third-tier belt that opened a Big Four pay-per-view. Like I said, the Royal Rumble over the years seems to have given us a lot of good curtain-jerker opening matches, and this definitely fit in there. And this was at a time where, I felt Matt Hardy was relatively well-placed, and I thought Jack Swagger was going to eventually someday develop into being a little bit better than he became. They had the rocket ship up his ass at this point in time, and they were very high on him, it seemed like, as a company. I didn't quite get it, but I could see maybe where at some point in time they envisioned more potential out of him with his amateur background, with his size, with the JR kind of stamp of approval behind him. Never really fully materialized, so it is what it is. Although once I found out that he liked to smoke weed, I was like, push this guy to the main event already, damn it. Anyways, moving on. Melina defeated Beth Phoenix to become the new Divas champion, and this was a solid match. Not the match of the night, but that's not a bad thing on this show because there were several matches that were good. I missed the pairing of Beth Phoenix and Santino Marella. That was awesome. This was at a time where I thought Santino was doing awesome stuff, and I don't know why it became a bad thing for adult fans to like Santino Marella. He was entertaining. Still is entertaining whenever they do utilize him, but this was when he was at his most entertaining. That 2007 to 2009 time frame is kind of like that entertaining, awkward heel. Him and Beth Phoenix together were really, really good. Not quite as good as, let's say, Santina, but she had the nice run. Anyways, moving on. The middle of the card, you've got the World Heavyweight Championship match. It's John Cena versus John Bradshaw Layfield. And one storyline I didn't particularly like was the storyline between JBL and Shawn Michaels here. Just wasn't my thing. I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of dumb. It was one of those things where they're trying to sit there and play off of what was going on in the regular society at that time with people losing their ass and losing all of their money and kind of being corporate slaves, so to speak. But I just never really bought it with Shawn Michaels. Did any of you? I never really did. And it'd been one thing if they were to talk about like Shawn Michaels blew all of his money on drugs and women and guys and all that shit. Then I would have actually believed it perhaps. But you always had him be exactly the same, I felt. And as good of an actor as Shawn Michaels was, which he was, good of a performer as he was, just could never get me interested in this storyline at all. They were trying to sit there and do this whole thing where Michaels is trying to determine whether he's going to continue to do JBL's bidding or if he's going to do the right thing. I just took a pass on the whole thing. Solid match, though, about what I would expect out of John Cena and JBL. That's what I'll say. Now, the next match I really, really like. That's Edge versus Jeff Hardy for the WWE Championship. Not only was this a good match, and it told its own story in its own ways with Edge and Jeff Hardy, and it was cool at this time to see Jeff Hardy hold the WWE Championship for me, for my purposes. It was cool to see him hold this belt. I thought it was long overdue, and it was such a big mark-out moment for me when it finally did happen, when he did pin Triple H, because Triple H rolled out of the way. He wasn't doing the job here. When he pinned Edge to become the new WWE Champion, it created an awesome moment. There have been years of history between Jeff Hardy and the WWE and his ascension up into becoming a big-time babyface star, arguably at one point in time the second biggest star in the company behind John Cena. And then you look at between Edge and Jeff Hardy, all of the great history they had together, over the years, the tag team division, et cetera, et cetera. But what made this such a killer match to me, and made it such a memorable match, is it was no disqualification, and out comes Matt Hardy. And I'm sitting there thinking Matt Hardy's going to fuck over Edge because Edge took his bitch Lita a few years before that. And with all was said and done, Matt Hardy turns on his brother Jeff. It's like, why in the fuck would you do that? It was awesome. You know, unless you were reading dirt sheets and they were trying to spoil it for you. If you didn't, which I didn't really pay attention to the dirt sheets in that particular time period, I just kind of watched and that was it. I didn't see it coming. This was awesome to me. This was awesome to me. You know, the whole kind of cap off of the storyline of different things happening to Jeff and and everybody was assuming Edge was going to do it. You could kind of see maybe they were going to go in a different direction because they were almost making it too obvious that it was going to be Edge. But for Matt Hardy to choose when he has the option to take out both Edge and Jeff Hardy, and with all the legitimate reasons for him to attack Edge, he chooses to attack Jeff Hardy instead. That was awesome. One of my favorite moments at a Royal Rumble pay-per-view, no question about it. Edge beats Jeff Hardy due to Matt Hardy's interference in helping this no DQ match for the WWE title, becomes the new WWE champion. I'm like, God, this is awesome. It was. It was completely awesome, in my opinion. And then we get to the Royal Rumble match itself. And I've always heard that, you know, it's not good when things are predictable. It's not good when you can see things coming. I understand that because sometimes it's packaged and presented to be that way and be just like that. And I get where you want to have some type of spontaneity, some type of unpredictability to it. But sometimes just because we know it's coming, just because we see it's coming, doesn't mean that it's not good. And what they were doing here with Randy Orton was really, really good. At least at this moment in time, at the beginning of 2009. This was really, really good. Coming off of the heels of attacking a member of the McMahon family, and you could just, the way they were setting up the whole night, you didn't know what was going on with Randy Orton. You probably knew deep down inside there was no way he wasn't winning the Royal Rumble. And then the Rumble match, you know, the way they position this, where Triple H comes out number 7, and then here comes Randy Orton number 8. Shortly thereafter, there's Ted DiBiase, there's Cody Rhodes and the Legacy. While it's a faction I hated because I always felt it was only designed to make Randy Orton better and wasn't designed to make Rhodes and DiBiase any better, you know, I loved how this all played out, even down to the Final Four. You know, there's Triple H, there's DiBiase, there's Rhodes, and there's Randy Orton. Of course, by the grace of God, God was able to eliminate Rhodes and DiBiase, and then Randy Orton ends up eliminating Triple H and wins the Royal Rumble and says, you can't fire me no matter what because it's ironclad. You know, later on, this is where they introduced IED and a bunch of other dumb shit. But the bottom line is, at this point in time, this was really well done. And they were really getting all types of what I felt was good, real heat on Randall Keith Orton. And now here he is as the Royal Rumble winner, and you're really planting the seed for what was going to come later at WrestleMania 25 between Triple H and Randy Orton. Very well done here. In general, this was a pay-per-view that I really enjoyed going back and watching. I thought it was one of the best Rumble shows that WWE has ever put out there from top to bottom, and I truly mean that. In this particular case, just because it was predictable, didn't make it bad. I thought that even though it was predictable and you knew where they were going, it was still well done, and they accomplished what they needed to accomplish and wanted to accomplish at that particular time. So a big thumbs up for the Royal Rumble 2009. If there's a pay-per-view you want to go back and watch of the Royal Rumble and you're not sure which one you should go back and watch, this is one of them. You could go back and watch 2008, and that's fine too, but I think you'll probably like 2009 just a little bit better.